Good morning, students. Myself Renu Yadav, and today I will teach you Science, Chapter 3, Part 2, Class 3rd, Birds. In this part, we will discuss about the exercise of the chapter. Take the correct answer. Children, in this exercise, few sentences are given to you with related options. What you need to do is, you need to read the sentence first and then read the options, and you need to match that which option is correct for the sentence, and then tick mark on that option. The first question is, this bird makes a hole along the bank of a river to make its nest. Children, in this question, we need to name a bird which used to make a hole along the river bank as its nest. And the options given to you are swan, duck, crane and kingfisher. And the answer is kingfisher. Children, kingfisher used to make a hole along the river bank to make its nest. Kingfishers are found all over the world, and they often make their nest near rivers where the water flows slowly. They make their nest in tall river banks. They dig a hole in the side of the river bank. Actually, many kingfishers eat fish. This is the main reason of making their nest near the river bank. They used to sit on branches hanging over the river's edge and wait for a fish to appear. Then they dive into the water to catch the fish. This is the main reason why kingfisher used to make their nest along the river bank. Second question is, talents are present in. Children, in this question, we need to name the bird who have talents. And the options are vultures, parrot, sparrow and duck. The answer is vulture. First of all, we will know what are talents. What are talents? First of all, this is the thing which we should understand. See, a bird's talents are sharp hooked claws. They are the claws. They are sharp and hooked at the end of the toes. They are present at the end of the toes. Birds have one talon on every toe, and they may differ in all over shape and thickness depending on how the bird will use it. The vulture has very specially adapted large clawed feet which are known as talons. The talons of the vulture are powerful and strong to allow the vulture to catch prey on the ground or in water when the vulture is still in the air. The talons of the vulture are designed to carry prey through the air, and they are strong enough to hold onto a fish which weighs more than a vulture. The feet of a vulture have 4 strong toes, and at the end of these toes are large curved claws which enable the vulture to hook onto its prey. So, talons help the vulture to eat their prey, right? To have their food. Then, third is beaks of these birds have strainers. Children, here we need to name the bird whose beak have strainers, and the options given are swallows, pigeons, ducks or hens. Children, the answer is ducks. Ducks and the other birds that spend much of their time on the water and whose diets consist primarily of water plants and aquatic invertebrates usually have strainer style beaks. They filter food out of mouthfuls of water and other water debris. These are elongated, flat bills with rigid edges, internal comb-like structures or other means of filtering food. Their beaks help them to filter their food. They used to dig into the soft mud near ponds to find worms and all, and then because of these strainer, the water and the mud goes out of the strainers and the worms, they remain inside to be eaten. Next is a bird with a hooked beak is, children, here we need to name a bird with the hooked beak, and the options given are parrot, duck, woodpecker or kingfisher. The answer is parrot. Parrots have shorter hook-like beaks that are perfect for cracking nuts and peeling through tough fruit skin. Children, this hooked beak helps a parrot to crack nuts and bite hard fruits. Second part, fill in the blanks. Children, here few sentences are given with blanks, and what you need to do is, you need to read the incomplete sentence and fill in the words which correctly matches the sentence. The first question is, dash are short tunes made by birds to warn other birds. Children, when we were discussing the chapter, we discussed that birds make noises and sounds which are grouped into two, and few sounds are for warnings and few sounds are for showing happiness and all. So these two groups are called calls and songs. In the question, it is asked that we need to name the type of sound which a bird makes when the bird wants to warn the other bird, and that sound is called calls. Calls are the short tunes made by the birds to warn other birds. B. Dash bird makes its nest with leaves. Children, here we need to name the bird which used to make nest with the help of leaves. And the answer is tailor bird. Tailor bird makes its nest with leaves. It uses its beak as a needle to sew the leaves using thread and wool. Then next is dash is a home of a bird. Here we need to name the place where the bird lives, and the answer is nest. Children, birds are very hard-working creatures. They used to build their nest with lots of effort, and where they provide shelter for their eggs and young ones. Birds used to lay their eggs in the nest. So, nest is the home of a bird. Next is birds use their dash to pick up their food. We all know that birds don't have hands. We used to pick up our food with the help of our hands, but birds used to pick up their food with the help of their beak. Different kind of birds have beaks of different shape. The shape of a bird's beak depends on the kind of food it eats. Birds use their beaks to pick up and eat their food. Answer the following questions. Children, in this part, few questions are given to you and you need to give the answers, the explanation of those questions. The first question is, which characteristics of the birds make them fly? The most beautiful thing of a bird is to fly. When we see a bird flying, we feel very magical and happy, right? So, what are the things which makes a bird different? What are the characteristics which make a bird to fly? We have to discuss that thing in this question. So children, the wings, their light bones and their boat-shaped body helps them to fly. The wings of the birds helps them to fly. Actually, the wings are attached to the body with the help of muscles. These muscles help the wings to move, and then they have hollow or light bones which make their bodies very light, and the streamlined or boat-shaped body of the birds help them to fly through the air easily. Therefore, the answer is the wings, light bones and boat-shaped body of the birds help them to fly. Next question is, differentiate between down feathers and flight feathers. Children, feathers of the birds are divided into two, down feather and flight feather. And in this question, we need to explain the difference between these two feathers. Children, feathers help birds in flying, in maintaining their body temperature, and Their whole body is covered with different types of feathers. The name of first type is down feather and the other one is flight feather. So first we will talk about down feathers. Down feathers, they are small and fluffy feathers. They keep the bird's body warm. Down feathers are small feathers and they are fluffy, which make the bird looks chubby. Okay, and these feathers maintain the temperature of bird's body and keep them warm. This is about down feather. And the second type is flight feather. Flight feather, they are flat and long. They help the bird to fly. Flight feathers are strong, stiff and long feathers found on the bird's wing and tail, and they help the birds to fly. So the difference is down feathers are small and fluffy and flight feathers are flat and long. Down feathers used to maintain the temperature of the bird's body. It used to keep them warm, and flight feathers helps the bird to fly. Then the third question is, what do birds use their beak for? In this question, we need to explain the use of beaks. The answer is birds use their beaks to pick up and eat their food. They also use their beaks to make their nest. The primary way bird will use its beak is simply to eat. And different birds used to have different kinds of beaks, like eagles, hawks, they have very large and strong hooked shaped beak, which is ideal for killing live prey and tearing it up to eat. Parrots, they used to have hooked beaks so that they can peel the tough skin of fruit and they can crack nuts. Then hummingbirds, they have long slender beaks that allow them to get nectar from within a flower. And they also use their beaks for making their nest. There are so many uses they can use for eating, for making nest, to save themselves. They also this beak also act as a weapon for them. One of the most vital use for birds has for its beak is as a weapon. Birds' beaks are often very hard and sharp and can inflict heavy damage. So they can save themselves also with the use of their beak. How does the long, thin and pointed beak of a sunbird help it? Children, in this question we need to explain the use of the beak of a sunbird. The answer is the long, thin and pointed beak of a sunbird help it to suck nectar from flowers. Children, sunbirds are small preaching birds which feed largely on nectar from flowers. Although they also take insects, especially when they are feeding their young ones, but nectar is the primary food for them. A sunbird possesses long, thin and pointed beak, and this kind of beak helps the bird to suck the nectar from the flower. Next question is, what material do birds generally use to make their nest? Children, in this question we need to answer that what are the names of materials which are generally used while the bird is making a nest. First of all, nest is the home of a bird. The home of a bird is called nest, and birds used to build nest to lay their eggs and to keep their eggs and to keep their young ones there. Many bird species lay their eggs in shelters called nest. And now we will discuss about the things which are used in building their home, their nest. Birds use a variety of things to build their nest. Cloth, leaves, straw, wool, thread, and twigs are some commonly used material. Children, nest used to provide a safe, warm place for the parent birds to care for their eggs and chicks, hidden from predators and protected from bad weather. Different birds make their nest using different material. Some gather sticks, grass, and leaves, while others use tree branches, mud, stone, etc. Fourth question, answer in one word. Children, here few sentences are given which you have to name. So the first question is, the part of the bird's body with wings and feathers. Children, here we need to name the bird's body part which have wings and feathers on it. And the answer is trunks. Birds are feathered winged animals with a beak, and a bird's body comprises of head with a beak, then trunk with wings and feathers, both down feathers and flight feathers, and legs with claws. Then second is small and fluffy feathers that keep the bird's body warm. We need to name the type of feather which are small and fluffy and which used to keep the bird's body warm. And the answer is down feathers. The down feathers of the birds used to keep them fluffy, and they used to keep their bodies warm as well. Those are very small feathers present on the trunk. Then third is part of the bird's body with claws, and the answer is legs. Children, on the legs the claws are present. Then sound made by a bird in the form of long tunes with repeated sound patterns that make them sound musical. And the answer is songs. Children, most birds make noises and sounds that are divided into two, calls and songs. Calls are short tunes that used to give warning sound of the bird, and when the bird is repeating longer tunes and the pattern is same, that time it is called a song. When a bird sings, that means it want to express its happiness, or it want to give a positive notes to others. Then last question is, this is the smallest bird on earth. Children, the smallest bird on earth is the hummingbird. The full name is the bee hummingbird. The bee hummingbird is the smallest bird of Cuba and the Isle of Youth. The measurement of a hummingbird is 57 millimeter, that is just 2.24 inches in the total length, and the weight of a hummingbird is just 1.6 grams. And this is believed to be the lowest weight limit for any warm-blooded animal. Higher order thinking skills. Children, here a question is given to you and you need to give the answer of this question. The question is, what do you think would happen to a bird if it loses its tail? Children, if a bird loses its tail, then what will happen? We have to answer this question. And the answer is, if a bird loses its tail, then the bird will not be able to maintain balance and stability in flight. Children, birds used to fly, and the special features of their body helps them to do so. A bird's body comprises of a head with a beak, a trunk with wings, feathers and legs with claws. The wings used to help them to fly, and their body is very light. That also helps them to fly, and their boat-shaped body also helps them to pass through the air easily. And if they will lose their tail, then they will not be able to maintain balance. Like when they will be sitting on trees, that time also they will not find it comfortable while sitting, and when they are flying, that time also they will not be stable. Name the birds by having a look at the beak. Children, here few pictures are provided to you, and you have to look at the picture and examine the beaks of the birds and then name the bird. So, moving towards the first picture, children, we can see that in the first picture we have a bird with broad and flat beak. And yes, this bird is a duck. Ducks have broad and flat beaks. The second picture. In the second picture, we can see that the beak is broad, long and pointed. Right? Therefore, this is an example of kingfisher. The picture is of kingfisher. Kingfisher have broad, long and pointed beaks, and these beaks help them to catch fish from the water bodies. Then moving to the third type. In the third picture, we can see a bird with long, thin and pointed beak. And yes, this bird is sunbird. Sunbird have long, thin and pointed beak, which helps it to suck nectar from flowers. Next picture is the picture of a bird with strong and heavy beak. And this bird is a woodpecker. A woodpecker has a strong, hard and heavy beak. It helps it to make holes in the trunks to catch insects for its food. Next picture is the picture of a hooked beak, and this picture is the picture of a parrot. A parrot has a hooked beak. Hooked beak helps it to crack nuts and bite hard fruits. Next is the picture of a bird with small, hard and pointed beak. And this picture is of a sparrow. Sparrow have these kind of beak, like small, hard and pointed. And this beak helps it to eat grains, seeds and crack nuts. With this, I end today's topic. Thank you.